I'm about to leak a huge secret about Minecraft spawners. My quest started a few weeks ago when I realized that even though Minecraft has 170 million active users every month, nobody knew the secret of what went on inside the spawner. That is, until now. To reveal the secret, I built a huge Minecraft monster spawner out of Lego bricks that actually spawns zombies. After watching this video, you'll know a secret about Minecraft that no one else knows. I began my real-life crafting session by looking at the walls of the spawner. I didn't have all these colors, but I came up with a good alternative. The spawner has 16 pixels on each side, which, if I translated that directly to Lego studs, I'd get a tiny build volume. So I doubled the length of each side to 32 studs and got to work on the spawner walls. Here's where things started to get really fun. I used a ton of dark gray plates instead of regular bricks so that the final product would be as thin as possible. I closely followed the model of the monster spawner so that it would look exactly the same. Once the frame was looking right, I tiled it off to create the cage structure and the skull in the middle of each wall. This is such a cool yet crucial part of this build, since the spawner walls are such an iconic thing that Minecraft players would recognize. I had to get it just right. That looks spectacular. I needed 2 more of these so that I could have 3 sides of the cube covered with these walls so it looks like a spawner from the front, but when you look around back, you'll see all the internal workings. That worked out well. Next, I designed a zombie out of 14 common Lego parts arranged like this. Wait, why didn't I choose a pig spawner? They're so much cuter than zombies. Okay, maybe not. Anyways, back to building the zombie. This looks incredible, except for the face. I decided to figure the eyes out later. I knew some of what went in the spawner, like the spinning zombie and the flames of course, but I was going to have to be creative with everything else. I started working on building a hopper to store the parts for the zombies. It's this size so that it can fit the large parts and the small parts. I used a special technique of short pins, half pins, plates, and tiles to fit each part into a track with just enough space for the parts to fall but not change orientation. I built a track like this for each type of zombie part and connected them all together. How oddly satisfying. Next, I needed a feed system for the hopper. I used a modular submodel of pulleys and 3-link beams. It was time to test it. The conveyor worked great, so I mounted the hopper on top of it. This system does 2 jobs at once. It conveys the stored parts from the hopper, and it also flips the parts 90 degrees to the right orientation as they are being conveyed. Finally, the first installation into the zombie spawner. The hopper and conveyor are cool, but there are even better things coming. The next thing I added was a stopper, so the parts wouldn't fall off the end of the conveyor. The stoppers needed to be less than 1 stud wide so that the zombie parts could be grabbed from the conveyor. 4 length bars worked well for that, so I went ahead and added the same submodel to each of the other conveyor sections as well. Then I loaded up the hopper to make sure everything was working. It all was, except for this one piece, but I fixed that. It was finally time to get this conveyor motorized. Each time a part was used, the motor refilled that slot from the hopper. It was perfect. The next item I needed was a stand for building the zombies. I used that same special half pin and plate technique to get the perfect height on these axles to support the zombie, but also let it be removed from the stand easily. This design was extremely effective. It was time to get this thing mounted. Easy enough. So the plan is to have a robot move the parts from the conveyor to the stand. Oh dear, hopefully the robot is better at this than I am. Spoiler alert, it is. After adding another support to the zombie stand, I was off to the next challenge of building something to press the zombie parts together. First, I created 2 separate press rams. 2 rams were required because of the axle supports in the zombie stand. Next, I created a smooth surface for the rams to slide on. Then I put together this motor and gear train. As this motor moves, the outer 2 rams actuate, and when I eventually connect the second motor to this axle, the inner ram will actuate. So I built this second motor mount and connected the 2 motors together. They're both geared down 3 to 1 to provide the necessary pressing force. Since it's a press, I added more structural elements to strengthen it. Okay, it was time to mount this new addition. I connected some wires and I tried it out. My guess was that this would do the trick. I was trying to keep everything as small a footprint as possible. So far, that's been pretty good. Everything was coming together, and I was getting super excited. As I added a couple more connection points for the press, I began to think about the last major item, the robotic manipulator. It would need to move parts from the conveyor belt to the build stand, hold parts during pressing, and move the finished zombie into the growth/teleportation chamber when it was finished. I began by working on the gripper itself. Rubber pieces on the ends will grab the part, and the motor will move this slide back and forth to grab or release the piece. Adding a rack and pinion will allow the motor to interface with this slider. I needed to test to make sure this gripper would work for 1 stud and 2 stud wide pieces, as well as short tiles. The test was successful for all of them, so I moved forward with this design. Next, I added a motor to the gripper. The gripper was done, and now I needed to add 3 axes of motion to it. I'll call the first axis the Z-axis. It will be for the gripper height. I used a series of bevel gears to interface with these gear racks. Okay, that was the first axis, now for the other two. This one was easy, I just needed to connect the motor to move these gear racks. So I built a support stand for the main assembly. Then I attached a motor and short gear train to mesh with the gear racks. I wanted this whole carriage to ride on a track, so I added supports for that. It would ride along beams like this, which would be the final axis of motion. I built tracks for the carriage to ride on, and I used a Lego chain as the interface from the large motor to the carriage. Unfortunately, the carriage tracks stuck out past the edge of the base plate, but it was a necessary compromise. It was time to connect the motor. I noticed a nice open space here, which would be perfect. Mounting the motor was simple, but then I had to drive this axle from here somehow. I built a small gearbox using a crown gear and connected the motor to the carriage chain. With the 3-axis robotic manipulator finished, there were only a couple of little items left. Mounting the controllers came next. Then I ran the wires using this wire management build technique. A light sensor came next. Now the spawner can tell if the lighting conditions are dark enough to spawn zombies. Here's a sneak peek of it working, but I'm going to temporarily turn off this feature for the video so you can actually see what's going on. Of course, the iconic spinning monster inside the spawner hadn't been added yet, so I used yet another motor to rotate a zombie around. And yep, like in Minecraft, it spins faster and faster as the time for the zombies to spawn gets closer. No monster spawner is complete without flames. I used a unique combination of white, yellow, orange, and red Technic parts and plates to get some nice looking flames. I mounted them inside the spawner. I added what I call the teleportation / growth chamber here. When zombies are finished being built, the robotic manipulator will place up to 4 of them inside this chamber, since in Minecraft up to 4 zombies spawn if the conditions are correct. This spawner is so close to being completed. Just a couple of finishing touches, including this satisfying time-lapse of tiling off the base plate. I took a page out of my creeper video and mounted a dry erase marker to draw in the eyes. I may not be an artist, but a robotic manipulator should be able to do a little better. I mounted this here, but I'll spare you the details of how much had to be taken apart to do that. The spawner is finally ready to spawn some zombies. This thing is truly huge. It weighs in at over 8 pounds. For reference, here's a minifigure for my LEGO audience, and a controller and mouse for my Minecraft people. It's time to build some zombies. I removed the top and one sidewall so I could get good camera angles. I plugged in external power, and then I filled the hopper with some more parts. Everything is finally ready. For the first time ever, the secret of the Minecraft spawner is about to be revealed. Here it goes. The first couple of bricks are underway. Let's see if it can do a better job than I did earlier in the video. So far so good, but let's see how the press does. The taller the zombie gets, the more difficult it will be for the press to press the parts, because of instability, so hopefully this goes okay. It's looking good. Now it's time for the zombie's arms. That zombie stand is really coming in handy. Now we'll get to see how the outer press does its job. It worked like a charm. The zombie's torso comes next. Let's see how it works. And now for the other arm. By the way, if you like these videos, please subscribe. It helps me produce more content for you to watch. Thank you for watching and engaging with my videos. It truly means the world to me. Now, let's get back to the zombie. Both of the arms are almost complete. Finally, the brick that will connect it all together. Just a couple more parts, and this zombie will be ready to chase Steve till kingdom come. I can't wait to see the look on his face. Here's the special jumper plate that we'll use so we can put the head right in the middle of the zombie. Soon we'll get to see how the robot draws the eyes of the zombie. Hopefully it does a pretty good job, but we'll wait and see. Okay, here comes the moment of truth. How will the eyes look? They're not too bad, but not perfect either. I may have to do some fine tuning. The robot will rotate the head so the eyes are facing the right way. We're down for the last piece, and then this zombie is headed to the growth and teleportation chamber. Check this out. The zombie will go in the chamber with enough room for other zombies to join it. The rest of the zombies are getting ready to spawn as well. Now that 4 zombies are ready, the chamber will activate. The spinning zombie will spin faster and faster until the zombies appear in the world of Minecraft. Good luck, Steve! Yeah, thanks to our spawner, he didn't stand a chance. Guess what? This video also doesn't stand a chance unless you share it on your social media. Minecraft and LEGO fans everywhere need to see it. Please help me show it to the world. Thank you so much. If you like this video, check out my other ones too.